Hello, this is Hotep Ma'at Murwet Talib. You can just call me Hotep for short if you like. Let's try this again. Okay, so I tried to record a video, but it didn't really turn out too well. It was way too long anyway, so let's get straight to the point. I just wanted to share some of my thoughts with the internet world, with YouTube land. I usually have, conversations like this with my husband, or sometimes I just think to myself. And so I just decided to put it on camera this time, and interact with people and, see what they think about the things that I think. So I appreciate your time and I respect your opinions and I hope you respect mine. Thank you. So, one of the things that I was talking about that I wanted to get into was parenting, parenthood, pretty much. Um, and the reason why I wanted to talk about this, it all stems from a dream I had last night. I don't want to put myself off as being psychic or telepathic or anything like that. But I have to be honest and let you know that I do have dreams that sometimes mean things, if I could even say that. Um, I'm not saying that I can see the future because a lot of times I would have a dream about something and it would just be crazy or stupid and I wouldn't even know what it means. And then something would happen that would remind me of the dream. And it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty much it. I'm not going to get into the uh, the specifics of the dream I had last night because even I'm sure you know that even sometimes you have a dream and you wake up like, what the hell? That dream led to the thought process that it led to this morning, which was um, spending time with my children. Yeah, that dream led to that thought process. My children, my daughter especially, I have a daughter and a son. My daughter's 10 and my son is 5. Um, My daughter sometimes expresses that I don't spend a lot of time with her. I would agree with that to a certain extent. I mean, I'm a grown up and I have to do grown up things. And what I mean by that is, my daughter expresses, I don't play Barbies with her. I don't take her to the movies. We don't go skating and stuff like that. Well, first of all, um, not mostly, but sometimes, a lot of times, a lot of things that she would like to do takes time and money, which I really don't have, to be completely honest with you. You want to go roller skating? Mommy loved to roller skate when I was a teenager, but you can't skate for free, okay? And working, I come home and I'm tired, and on top of that, I do homeschool my children, so I'm getting lessons together and I'm teaching them, and you know, as a parent, as a woman, as a black person, as a human being, you know, you like to take time for yourself, especially me. I'm the type of person that like to take time for myself. So after I'm done with all the things that need to be taken care of, handling business, I like to just relax. I throw my music on, I take a bath, and I watch a little YouTube, whatever, you know. And my kids feel like I don't put enough time and effort into spending time with them. I've explained to my daughter, recently, in the past, but recently, that I may not spend time with her in the fashion that she approves of or she wants, but I do nurture her and spend time with her. I feel like her education is very important. I feel like teaching my children who they are and where they come from and truth and history about the world is love and spending time. Because a lot of kids, black kids, white kids, they don't know. All they know is TV and toys, And I feel like I'm doing my children a service by not giving them that. My children don't watch TV at all. They're not allowed to watch TV. None at all. It got to at one point, um, it was where they could watch TV, but I get to, monitor and police that very closely. Not, they can't watch any of it. So, I mean, we play board games and stuff like that, but no, mommy, I want to go. Can we go get some ice cream? You know? And I'm like, no. And then here comes an attitude. But the point I'm trying to make is that um, I try to teach my children, like I said, who they are and where they're from. which I'm very Afrocentric. And um, having an Afrocentric mind and having a Eurocentric mind are two different things. They're completely they're night and day, which is fine. That's totally fine. But you have to know who you are and do what you do. Um, and I'll start this off with a little example. This happened just yesterday. My son, I was out of the room when this happened. We were getting ready to go somewhere, and so my husband and my children were in the living room, and I was in the bathroom, and I came out, and my husband said, "Did you hear what our son told our daughter?" And I was like, "No," and my husband said, our daughter seems to think that a party has to do with music, balloons, cake, and fun stuff or whatever. And my husband was like, our son told her that that doesn't make a party. My son said a party is a group of people. And my son told my daughter, you must have got your idea of what a party is from white people. And I told my daughter in that instance, I said, that's why when you go to a restaurant, they ask you how many in your party. I said, a party is a group of people. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If you have 5 people or plus or even a little bit less, that's a party of people. You can have a party of people walking down the street. But anyway, my husband and I were very surprised by that. My son, going back to my kids feeling like I don't spend time with them or do certain things they'd like me to do. My son, being only 5, he's very, very playful. He plays a lot, and he hardly cares about history or education. He's more interested in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which is understandable, but is not acceptable in my house. My whole thing is when we go back to Africa, ancient Africa, whatever you want to call it, history, our past, when there were no Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, what was our children doing? When there were no Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, what was our children doing? I'm going to reference the TV show Roots, if you've ever seen that. I love that movie / TV series. I really do. There's a part in the very beginning where Kunta Kinte is about 15 years old, I guess, and he's outside doing something, and his mother is inside the house, and she calls him inside, and she goes, Kunta Kinte, you need to come and finish your breakfast. There is still much food in your bowl. And he said, but mother, I'm not hungry or something. And she was like, I don't want to hear it. Come and eat your food. So he comes in, he eats his food as his mother asks him to do. When he's done, he says, Mother, my bowl is empty now. May I go back outside? And she says, there are goats to be fed. He said, yes, Mother. He goes and he feeds the goat. The whole atmosphere in that scene and within that family was structural. It was strong. It was, it wasn't about, you can tell it wasn't about what the kid wanted. And growing up in white society, you'll hear that. You will read that in books. Listen to your children. Find out what they want. And then we wonder why, white people's kids call their parents, bitches and I hate you, mom, and all this. I don't know. Black kids, brown kids. I don't like to use the term black. Clearly, if you have a good resolution on your computer, you can see I'm not black. This thing on my head is black. I'm brown. I'm a brown person. Brown people can't do that. I can't tell my mom, bitch, I hate you. I wouldn't be here making this video. I would have RIP'd a long time ago. But I just think that back in Africa, if I can call it that, or back wherever we came, before we got in contact with these pink people, because once again, they're not white. White is this wall behind me. If you ever saw a person this white, they painted, They're not white. They're pink. Pink. I like it. Pink. Anyway, I like pink. But anyway, Yeah, so brown people just can't do that. Wherever we came from before we got in contact with these pink people, I would like to know, how did we raise our children before we begin to subscribe to their ideologies and ways of life, and like we just don't even have our own culture anymore. At one point, we called hip hop, an urban clothing culture. Yeah, it was our own little thing, but we don't really have a culture. Like my husband and I, my family, we don't celebrate holidays. So I'm not going to say I wish you had a happy Thanksgiving, because I don't agree to what Thanksgiving stood and stands for. We don't celebrate Christmas, birthdays, none of that. We don't do any of that. We don't pop firecrackers. We don't celebrate American holidays. Um, Mainly because we didn't celebrate that in Africa, and partly because of what they really stand for. If you go in and you study the origins of Halloween, Valentine's Day, and see what they really meant, then maybe you can understand why I don't celebrate it. And a lot of people will say, well, it doesn't mean that now. You can take something and you can turn it into anything you want. Yeah, maybe, but it's my life and it's my choice, and I don't want to turn nothing. I don't want anything recycled, handed down, whatever. I'm good. We didn't do that in Africa. I'm African. I'm brown. So you conquer this land. It's your holidays. Have fun. Um, anyway, so I'm just wondering, what did we do, before we got in contact with these people? How did we raise our children? I really do believe that, first of all, let me start by saying, in case I haven't mentioned, that aside from being Americanized in America, me and my family do live in a predominantly white community. We do. Um, so, influencers are everywhere. And it's very hard trying to raise your children a certain way when they have outside influences influencing them. Children are very impressionable, especially my daughter, knowing her personally. She's very impressionable. And I just think she gets her subscriptions and ideology from, her white friends. Um, let's just be honest. Even in a black community, you are impressionable. What your friends do and how they think about you means something to you. Um, so my daughter said I don't spend enough time with her. I don't go rollerblading with her. I don't, she likes to do stuff like, can we do dolls' hair and stuff like that? Yeah, that's cool. I don't mind doing it every once in a while, but I'm not really into that kind of stuff. I mean, I spend time with her in other ways. I spend time with her educating her. I talk to her about the things that she's learned, the things that I try to teach her. I get her opinions and feelings about things, and I feel like that's growing her intellect, growing her spirit, and spending time with her, having conversation, girl talk, if you will. She doesn't see it that way. Like, she enjoys it, but she's like, Mom, not that way. I want to play dolls, or let's go jump rope or something. Okay, cool, I get it, but I really do think she gets these ideals from Western culture. Going out for ice cream, going to the movies, going to the mall, which are all cool things. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do fun things with my children, but in my opinion and in my household, those type of things are rewards for being a good child. What is a good child? A child that respects and listens to her parent, and it's just a good kid. Just a good, be yourself, be a good, wholesome kid. Don't be a white kid. Don't be what you see. Be what you know. Be the best that you can be. I'm so sorry to sound so cliche. But so that's just how I feel about it. I've even had family members tell me, you don't spend enough time with them. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, you're not raising my children. I am. And if I don't want to take them out for ice cream, every day, or if I don't want to, take them to baseball games every weekend, then there's nothing in a parent's manual that says I have to do that. My job is to keep them healthy and intelligent, in my opinion. I feed them, I wash them, and I teach them. I don't have to, you know, take them to the arcade, even though that's something kids like to do. We can do that, fine. Do what I need you to do, and we can go to an arcade every once in a while. You know, people try to pin me as this bad parent. Not a lot of people, just one or two people got their opinions. I I I beg to differ. I disagree. So, I just wonder. I'm just interested in what you think when it comes to what are your ideals and values when it comes to raising your children. Do you feel like spending time with them is important, which I definitely think it is. And another thing I wanted to pinpoint is that, there's an African proverb that says it takes an entire village to raise a child. I agree with that. Growing up, if I messed up, my mom could whoop me, my auntie could whoop me. Hell, some of my older cousins could grab me by the ear and yank me inside the house. My uncles, I could talk to my uncles about different things, as well as my father, as well as a male cousin or whatever. Um, you know, Nobody was rejected to whoop your butt in my family and a lot of my friends' family, straight up. Grandma will get you, But it takes a village to raise a child.